Good morning, everybody. Good morning and welcome. A warm welcome to the Dragon's Den. Thank you to all the dragons. Please, let's keep the fire down for now. My name is Hugo Espinosa. I've been with all of you since the beginning, and I've seen the work you have done. But I like to explain a little bit of what happened before we got to this den. That all of the teams went through a lot of troubles with the lions. There were four rooms, and in each room there were five teams, yes. And only one team per each challenge has survived and is here. It was not easy, but now they will have to face the dragons.
Yes, so this morning, the four finalist teams step into the Dragon's Den. And it's their moment to pitch their project to the judges, to the audience, and to the wider community who are present in person and online. Basically, the challenge is simple but significant. Does the project strengthen democracy? Does it contribute to countering hate speech? Does it allow technology to work for people and not against people? And more importantly, is it feasible?
Yes, so let's go through the rules of engagement right now at the Lions Den. It's going to be very similar to what you have done already, but we're just adding 1 extra minute to the questions and answers. So, here are the questions. Here are the criteria. So, like I was saying, 5 minutes for your presentation. You can showcase your slides, your proof of concept. You already done that, and then you can also showcase your demo, please. There is a counter right over there, so please pay attention to that timer. If you finish those 5 minutes, I will ask the judges if they allow you to continue with their 3 minutes for the questions and answers. If they allow it, then you can continue with your pitch. Then we will jump into the questions.
So, finalists, this is your moment. Take a deep breath and enjoy the moment and show us what you've built.
Team number 1, coming from privacy preserving hate speech detection, the winner of that challenge is All for One from Moldova. Please, the room is yours.
So, hello everyone, we are Team All for One from Moldova. It's a small country with a big heart. So that's why I want to present you a story of Anka. She's a data protection officer at the Women's Digital Violence Helpline. Her team has logged 10,000 real abuse reports, and it contains a lot of examples of how harassment actually works. But she cannot share it because it contains name, usernames, location, bystanders, and the abuser's writing style. So the evidence stays locked away, even though it could be used to build better protection. So today it has 3 options. So basically share the raw reports, but the user can be identified. Then to remove too much, but then it will lose the meaning. And then mark only the names. But in that case, the user can be identified through a writing style. So the missing piece is a way to measure the re-identification index, which will allow to know how safe the file is to share. So, but the problem is much bigger because in EU, 1 in 3 women experienced physical or sexual violence or threats. So cyber violence against women spend around billions of euro every year. But the evidence is locked inside helplines, NGOs, and the research teams. So the tools meant to protect people are trained on weaker data. So let's see how the normal use case of Anka of the Agno speech. First of all, she will load the reports from the personal computer. Then chooses how much privacy she needs. Then they review the rows which need personal review, which are high risk or unclear. And then she exports a safer dataset with a re-identification index, which is, if lower, then it's most anonymously. If it's higher, then the data is not private. So how the pipeline looks like? First of all, we remove direct identifiers like names, handles. Then we analyze the harm and eliminate the useless context, which is not relevant to the negative aspect. Then the soften part, we formatting the text so that the writing style will be different. So it will not be possible to identify the writer. So Anka gets a protected report with a re-identification index. Basically, we're not saying trust us, we masked the names, but we measure how risky this release still is. And the algorithm works on every computer. It's a local model, and the data does not live at it. So right now we'll do a live demo. It's basically an app, but we'll present as a site for simplicity. The uncle have a possibility to upload a report, which she has. Then she all statements and the possibility to change how hard the privacy you want. If you privatize too much, it will lose context. So it's a trade-off. So right now we can see how the result looks like. The personal data is hidden, and it is formatted so that it will not be possible to identify the person from writing style. So now let's talk about the ethical guardrails. Because raw text never gets to a cloud API. No account profiles, no metadata on individuals. And certain cases go to human review. We score text, not people. No automatic takedown decisions. The index checks protection. It never identifies people. So next steps for implementation will be easier to process of installation and to test better its limits. And then to work with one real partner, an NGO, a dataset publisher, or a reasonable research lab. Then to make a open source library tools for everyone to use, and the final purpose, a desktop app for Anka. So success means useful evidence can move without becoming dangerous. Helplines share evidence more safely, researchers work with better data, DPOs review re-identification index. So our final statement is, the data of the most vulnerable people should not stay locked away just because privacy is hard to measure. Agno speech makes that risk visible. Thank you.
Now 3 minutes for questions and answers, please.
Yes.
Hello, thank you so much for your presentation. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So the original problem, I would love to ask, so who is this privacy issue an issue for? So if it's NGOs or research institutions or trust and safety institutions that have these lists and they need to share them, where is the privacy concern exactly?
So basically, when some organizations have privacy data and it want to share it to the public, but it contains personal information. For example, you can have harassment accusation of me, and I don't want my personal data to be published online in context of harassment. So we need to privatize the data.
In this example, Anka works for Helpline.
Okay.
And all of the data that Helpline collects will then need to be used to create reports or to maybe train triage models to better detect harassment and to help in this process.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great presentation. I would like to understand a little bit better with regards to how this solution can be sort of scaled in the real world and how basically Anka can go forward to make sure that it helps broader community. Can you just explain a little bit on that?
Yeah, so basically, right now, the data, the real example of harassment use personal information. And to train the better model, we don't need that information to be public. We need just the sentences, the harm, the core harm from the data set. We don't need personal information. And with that, we can identify better harassment on social media, for example. and that will be it more scalable.
By having a specific data sets that contain only harm, we can identify specific use cases and specific algorithms presented in the data sets. For example, if someone have a specific order of words that is hateful, by training our own algorithms, we can identify in future examples how we can privatize that or eliminate from a result.
Thank you very much. Well, I would want to learn more about your personal motivation on this issue. Is this issue something that you feel related to in Moldova? And how do you see the implementation of this project? Maybe more specifically, you want to work with some NGOs or with the governments. If you could tell us more about that, that would be great.
Moldova is a country that has to deal with lots of discrimination. It does not have the same European culture, and this is what we're trying to bring to Moldova. We want to make people aware that sometimes discrimination happens. We want to raise awareness of that, and we want to help those people that work to solve discrimination and to solve abuse and hate speech, and to help.
I have to be fair to everybody else. You can finish your thought, but I will allow you all to finish your thought, of course, but there's a time limit to continue. This was All for One from Moldova. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Team One. That was a very strong start. What's fascinating about this hackathon is that not only are we seeing huge quality in the ideas, but actually real diversity in the approaches. We now turn to Team Two, because hate speech rarely spreads alone. And therefore, Team Two tackled challenge number 2, which is coordinated inauthentic behavior. In other words, trying to detect the organized networks that amplify hate speech across platforms, which often impact women, politicians, and activists. Please welcome Team 2. I don't know the name. Yes. Lumen from Romania.
Could I see the slides? So we know they're working. Awesome. A woman runs for office. By morning, a post that says she's unfit has been spread 147 times, pushed online in a single hour. Is this the public turning against her, or a coordinated attack? It's chaos. And within it, there could be a coordinated and authentic behavior campaign manufacturing the crowd. And today's tools can tell. 1, read what it says and can separate real anger from an attack. So it silences the real people. The other works, but it's black blocks inside the platforms, flagging in secret. So you censor your citizens or you surveil them. Either way, the attack wins. So we build Lumen. It tells the manufactured crowd from a real one by looking at what the accounts actually do, not just what they say. A person sees if the outrage is real or staged. An institution gets proof to act and defend. An analyst gets every signal to challenge. Same evidence, openly, for all three, so the truth stays public and the objective. Never a private weapon. Now, Tudor built the engine.
The hard part of this problem is not detecting coordination, it is avoiding false positives and making sure genuine public reactions are never mistaken for organized campaigns. Every analysis window starts with privacy. Data is processed through a closed source, session-based encryption stage, where all identities are transformed into hashes. Within a session, we can observe behavioral patterns, but accounts cannot be reverse engineered, revealed, or linked across sessions. The anonymized information then moves into an open source event-driven pipeline. It is evaluated against 12 independent signals designed to detect coordinated behavior. Most importantly, a single signal is never enough. The system requires at least 3 independent signals before any score changes. 1 hour, 447 posts. 7 of 12 signals, reaching a 72% score. What makes this practical is transparency. Every signal can be inspected, verified, and reproduced. Anyone can review the evidence and independently validate the result using the same open source methodology. This matters because the challenge is not the opinion itself, but hate-driven engagement and coordinated amplification. Lumen measures those dynamics while keeping the benchmark focused on human safety and democratic resilience. The platform has huge profit margin capabilities as well. Lightweight clustering runs at scale, while more expensive analysis is performed only on the groups that pass initial filters. It scales, it's fast, it's good. But is that enough?
Okay, so our system is built on fundamental rights. It works for the people, not against them. So let's break down the legal framework. Let's start with Article 8, which establishes the right to private life. So we never store a person because identity is hashed at ingestion, so no key is ever kept. Moving on, building on that, Article 10 protects freedom of expression. So what someone said can never on its own flag anything because we operate on a behavioral coordination signal that has to fire first. Then we have Convention 108+, which requires minimal data, short retention, and no way back to a person. And we meet all three by design. So only public content is processed, the salt is destroyed after each window, and we prevent individual identification. The AI Convention, Article 9, requires oversight, which we provide through independent post hoc audits and a clear appeal process, and Article 10 requires non-discrimination measured via parity across categories by comparing data collection and detected CAB. So this, what you see right here, this is democratic principle made structural and operational by design.
Now, let's talk about user experience. What we're trying to do here is to have a 4-layered approach, depending on how much effort you want to put in. At layer 0, our platform shows the verdict and key facts. At layer 1 is for the curious. They expand the experience. They see where, how, and when the narrative is being spread. At layer 2 is for anyone analyzing the data. They can audit every signal, all in the open and easy. L3 is for anyone who wants to reproduce this. They can download the data, the AI harness, and the solution with one click, so they reproduce the verdict on their platform. And because friction is what drives people away, our pipeline automatically posts the verdict on social media platforms. So wherever you follow Lumen, it shows up in your feed. Lumen finds you. Now, Lumen is an open box. We want to publish everything, and we want to be scrutinized. We will put public KPIs and fairness measurements that show that and prove that we are open and we don't discriminate as the role requires. We want independent bodies to audit us, and within a year, we want to move to our self-hosted infrastructure, fully in Europe, including LLMs. Now, the impact is clear. Anyone with a minute or an afternoon can see what's coordinated and what's real on demand. And the one at the beginning, the one in the post, Lumen Defensor. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. And the one in the beginning, the one in the post, Lumen Defensor. It objectively proves the storm was manufactured and it clears her name without ever pointing to any ordinary person. This is Lumen, and we thank you.
Do the judges have any questions? Aisha Pioti, yes?
Please.
You talked about the fact that you look at behavioral coordinational signals, right, in order to then understand what to do. Could you give us an example of something like that? Exactly what could be an example of something like that and how you would tackle that, just to run us through?
So, us humans don't really behave like machines, and it's been clear. We're not following patterns, and even when we're trying to create an algorithm that's randomized, that's not even true. Like at one point, the cycle repeats. So technically, it's not possible to make it random, even though it looks like random. So at network level, what might look human to us, when we analyze the patterns, it follows a clear machine pattern. So that's why we can say it's not enough to look at what the people say, because we don't want false positives, saying a person is a robot and putting that person in the pipeline. So we look at the behavior in the network, like the times when some narrative was posted. If it's coordinated across platforms at the same time, that is a strong signal that is being coordinated, right? I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Mrs. Yashko.
Who are your users? Just general public? And why do you think they shall care
Okay, I love this question because it may sound arrogant, but our users are everyone. That's why we created the effort-based approach. So any person with 1 minute of time scrolling a feed on Instagram could see that there's a narrative going on that's being coordinated. That's the minimum effort you need. But then if somebody wants to get into this, even as non-technical, our platform lets you go as deep as you want. So you want to understand and get a better feel for it, you go to layer 1. You want to see the signals and ask questions about them, you go to layer 2. You suddenly become technical and you spin up your coding agent, because everybody has a coding agent now, and we like to talk to AI. You download everything that you need so you can directly get into a conversation and ask an LLM and have a conversation with an LLM about our solution. So this is really for everyone. Analysts can go deep, people can understand, and institutions can use this as proof, and they say like, okay, everyone has the same evidence. You don't have to trust us, right? Public distrust is a real big problem that we think this is solving.
Thank you. We have time for one more question. Secretary General.
Assumption, it will be not as clear as you wish, not so clear that it is 1 or 0. How do you measure this, and how do you present the results in this situation?
Exactly. That's why we have multiple signals. This first stage of the solution is when we only do addition, but as we continue to research this, we might have human markers that can retract. But it's a band. It's multiple signals, like a weighted sum, contributing to 1% in terms of score. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Team 2.
Thank you, Team Lumen. Thank you very much. We reached halfway of our 4 teams that have passed the Lions Den. Now we are the Dragons Den at the 3rd team now. From reporting to response, the winners of that challenge are Quorum. Please, pass to the front.
Shall I introduce the judges?
Perhaps. Well, I mean,
Let's go. que tu veux que je présente les juges pour gagner un peu de temps? Ouais. Vous pouvez m'allumer? I'll just introduce the judges to take the pressure away from you. No, it's okay. Tu m'allumes. Right, we're experiencing a bit of a technical problem, so I'm going to change. Hugo and I have decided we're going to change the order. And you've probably heard our 5 judges asking questions, but actually we haven't introduced them to you. So I'm going to do that now. We've actually assembled a remarkable panel of judges with expertise spanning democracy, technology, innovation, and governance. And they're going to have a very tough job, which is to choose among these very high-quality projects. Let me introduce them to you briefly. We have Alain Berset, the Secretary General of the Council of Europe. Aisha Piotti, a global, renowned independent expert in AI policy. Lisa Yashko is a special vice president of the Parliamentary Assembly Subcommittee on the New Democratic Pact for Europe. Raresh Voiku is the president of the European Youth Forum. And Maya Lahav, one of my favorite panelists, cyber criminologist at Oxford University. And I hope that's taken a little bit of pressure off poor Team 3. Maybe we should start dancing or something. Hugo, what do you think?
While we wait, I think I would like to remind everybody else that we also have here other participants that I also will consider to be winners. They flew from far and wide, and they participated in the Lions Den. I was part in just one. Unfortunately, I could not be in 4 rooms, especially filled with lions. But in my particular Lions Den, I can tell you, the battle was fierce, and it was very interesting. The judges took a long time to decide the winner, and eventually they have to come back and they apologize around 6 times before they say the winners, because they thought that they all could move along into the next phase.
It's true. I think these, no matter what the result is today, every single team has shown creativity, has shown commitment, has shown courage to try and tackle some of the most complex challenges that our societies face today. So,
yeah, thank you very much all for coming from far and wide. We appreciate it a lot. We understand that the logistics were a little bit tricky. Some of you had a couple of connections here and there, arrived late nights. We worked a lot. I saw your effort, can see some tired faces here. But I can tell you, the effort was really worth it, and we hope you continue this mission that we fully support. Really keep pushing forward, and I can say in the name of all of the mentors that they want to continue talking with you. They want to continue pushing forward these ideas. You are the democracy defenders, and you should keep going.
And Team 3... Team 3 is now ready.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, and good morning, everyone. We're Team Quorum, and our project is Mosaic, a platform that turns reports of online hate and gender-based violence reports against candidates into evidence that institutions can actually act on. Let me start with the problem we're solving. During an election, online hate and gender-based violence spike, and this is exactly when speed and clarity matters most. The reporting exists, but the problem is that it's slow, fragmented, and not gender-sensitive. Now let's look at the diagram. A woman candidate who's attacked online faces an impossible question. Where do I even go? To the platform, the Electoral Commission, an NGO? This fragmentation is the core institutional failure. Our solution turns individual reports into actionable institutional evidence. Mosaic connects 2 networks, 2 workflows. On the left, individuals submit a report and receive tailored guidance after human review. And on the right, authorized institutions filter cases, detect trends, and turn validated evidence into policy action. Our encrypted dataset connects both sides, and this dataset and the system continuously improves themselves with the human review it receives. Two design principles make the system unique. First, privacy by design. We only collect what's strictly necessary to classify and process data securely. Thus, we ensure people feel comfortable and safe making their reports. Secondly, country-specific deployment. Language and political context vary, so the classification and storage are adapted locally. Also, any member state can use our system as a self-evaluation tool to see whether their democratic safeguards are holding or where they're failing. Mosaic is a decision support. It's not a censorship system. It does not remove content or act autonomously. A human in the loop, it always reviews cases before referral. Access is limited by role, actions remain auditable, and reporting is anonymous and accessible. This also reflects the Council of Europe's Framework Convention on AI, which requires that AI systems be developed and used in line with human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. Mosaic serves two groups in one workflow. For individuals, it offers quick reporting, tailored guidance, status tracking, and a clear notification when their report contributes to policy. For institutions, it provides structured evidence and early democratic risk monitoring. The value is simple. Individuals finally see a response, while institutions receive the coordinated evidence they need to act. Now, let's look at our deployed prototype.
So in Mosaic, you're able to submit a report as an individual and logging as an institution. Let's showcase how you would report as an individual. You're able to see and consent to things because we have talked with our mentors and we know that we require consent. This is not just interest-based. And after we consent, we can either write a report, upload screenshots, or for the interest of time, I'll just upload one of the generated reports. And when we report, we'll get a ticket with a tracking number, and we'll also be able to review the progress on this report. But I know that there will be a lot of questions about privacy, so we want to address those as well. So let's see how a given report is processed. We are basically encrypting it, sending it, and doing all the calculations on an encrypted way. And after we can track this back to the user with the help of the ticket. So what would an institution do? Maybe you're an NGO and you're looking at a electoral intimidation towards a non-binary candidate on an election, and you might I'm just going to proceed with the demo. You'll be able to see that these reports are already submitted. We populated this with some synthetic data, and you'll be able to see all the analytics that you want to see, the platforms that these are coming from, as well as any information that you would need to make decisions based off of these. You're also very welcome to submit new reports. So you can select a lot of reports that you already might have about these and submit them. And the program will classify them based off the incident groups, and we will be able to see these reports added to our database. Now, one other thing is in this incident category specific part, where we are able to generate policy and legal guidance for anyone that is using it. So we create a package, and we will be able to review this package, and we are also generating some insights about this specific case, as well as different timeline actions that are takeable that you can take. And finally, we are also providing a human-in-the-loop feature where we are doing adaptive learning. We are increasing our accuracy by getting these human inputs. When a human approves, we are increasing the confidence in our program. We also have accessibility features in place so that anybody with a disability can use it easily. Thank you.
For the next steps, we will implement a pilot and test it during a real election setting. More importantly, Mosaic runs alongside existing systems, so the transition to our system will be eased. Success means Mosaic shifts the burden away from the person being targeted and onto the system designed to protect democratic participation. Thank you.
Any questions, Dragons?
I can start. I'm interested in the early warning detection of such threats, and I saw in your presentation that you have this early identification. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, if you can pull up the slides as well. So we implemented this feature, but within the interest of time, we didn't show it. But assuming that there is an ongoing electoral campaign, you're able to, if you can have the slides, you're able to see the reports in real time and like take action before something happens. So it's a real time. So you're basically able to understand these real time and act upon this. sorry, if
So as
You
reports
can
come in lifetime, then you can also make forecasts in the future, whether this will spike in the future in the next day at 10 a.m., let's say, and then you can also use more human at that times to navigate these situations.
Thank you so much for your presentation. If you have humans that always have to go through these reports, is that not a very resource-heavy pipeline?
So what we are doing is that the problem is that the reports are fragmented. So a human has to look through all these reports, hundreds of them, and then has to collect them together. What we are doing is that we are synthesizing them so that the human only has to look at one report rather than hundreds coming from all these social media platforms, NGOs, etc. So we're actually making the humans work easier. But you always have to have a human in the loop, so we don't solely depend on the AI for our work.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you very much. I really like this presentation as well because you have, of course, showed and demoed and everything also. My question is a little bit with regards to, because specifically you took an example of an election campaign, and there is, of course, the issue of verification. So the question is, you can have these reports, but how do we know that these reports are really true? They're coming from real people, and how, before you actually send it over to the agencies, can authenticate that information? How does that happen?
So we have a pipeline for whenever the report is submitted. We are looking at these embeddings, and if we mark them as fraudulent, which is if they're too close to another report, another embedding, which we can do it securely, we are able to identify that is coming from the same source, and it's likely a coordinated attack. We also a further progress would be coordinating with other participants here with hate speech detection and coordination, because this is a platform that everybody should be able to plug into. So that will be a further step as well.
And
We have 10 more seconds for a question.
To be very quick, thanks for the presentation. So we saw what the institutions see, the report they receive. On the side of the submitter, do they get the same kind of very complex legal memo, or is it more of a summarized or simplified response?
It's a guided policy or an action plan on what you can do yourself or what advice we would give for you to do, and you're able to see that on a smaller spectrum. So you refer to the resources and refer to the correct organizations, etc.
Yeah.
Give it up for Team Quorum. Thank you very much.
It's now time for the team that tackled challenge number 4, Bulle from France. Because in fact, maybe the real question is not so much how to detect hate speech, but rather try and stop it at the source. And that's why Team 4 have been thinking about ways to prevent, to contextualize, to counter, and to transform hateful dynamics online. Team 4.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anna. I co-founded an NGO, Stofisha, fighting online gender-based violence. For 6 years, I've worked every single day with women survivors who are targeted by hate. The data shown here, thank you so much, come from a national study that will be presenting to the French Senate next Monday. As you can see, 82% of who participate to this study and being victim of cyber violence are women. Beyond that data are real people that are being silenced. And silence is exactly how a democracy dies online. So, to be honest, even when we manage to detect hate, sometimes it's already too late.
Thank you, Anna. So actually the problem has 2 roots. First, anonymity and toxicity. Behind the screen, we could have a troll, a bot, or worse, we could have foreign interferences in order to destabilize European countries and our values. So deleting messages one by one or banning social media under 16 treats only the symptom, not the cause. Second, echo chambers and polarization algorithms reward outrages to keep our attention, and we slowly drift into separate camps when the other stop being human. So Secretary General, yesterday you said the problem is that we don't know who the referee is. Hold that though, it is exactly what we answer next. So we are working inside Buell, a European ethical social platform that I created with my friends a few months ago. And our solution has two parts. The first one is already there. Verified identity. There is a real person behind every voice and accountability, but we don't keep the identity. So the second part is our new module we built this Hackathon week. This called Pop Your Bubble, step out of your echo chamber. And so every week, your feed flips into the other opinion groups. Voices the usual algorithm will never show you. You rate quality of arguments and flag fallacies. So remember the referee? On Buell, every citizen is the referee. We don't win by applause from your own bubble. You win by becoming a bridge builder. So everything here is aligned with the Council of Europe's own values. The double blind is essential. The states prove that you are a real person, but it is blind to what you do on Buell, and Buell is blind to your civilian identity. This is privacy by design, the heart of Convention 108. Everything is transparent. Every grouping, every parameter, every score is described on your own profile. There is no black box. There's a transparent bubble.
As an architecture student, I want Buell to look and feel exactly like the social media we use. So there is no friction, there is no new mechanics to learn. It's like scroll social media. And the only difference is the depolarizing algorithm and the human accountability. And all of these features, they packed into a weekly event, the Buell Friday. And you will see the demo right now.
Yeah, so this is not a mock-up. It runs inside the real Buell app. It is on the App Store, on the Play Store, so you can download it if you want. You can try it yourself. There is the QR code, so you can try. So one Friday, we are on Fridays, so you will see other views. You will argue, you will never attack, you will build bridges. You earn trust. The feed of commentaries is now a mix of different opinions. But the difference with the other social media is that now, by default, you will see at the top the most constructive ones, and at the bottom, the most fallacious one. So our next step is to go from national traction to a depolarizing standard for European social media, all kinds of social media. This hackathon is an opportunity we may never have again. And even if Buell, by misfortune, could not continue, we will have proven that something that outlives us, that a platform can have transparent algorithm that protects users' data while keeping responsibility and accountability, and tackle hate at the root while offering a genuinely democratic space to speak. A part of the road has already been walked, so we want to continue it with you, and thanks to you. Dear mentors, jury, and member of the Council of Europe, give us a chance to prove that another way is possible. Thank you.
Yes, Barish.
Thank you for your presentation. I have two questions, but they're quite brief. The first one is for ID verification. I think it poses a lot of questions regarding traceability of identity and how you protect that. And also, would then minors or people under 18 or 16 who might not have an ID that is eligible for those kinds of verification mechanisms have access to the platform? The first question. And the second question, looking at the comments to see the ratings for the arguments, how do you make sure that people actually want to use the app and not feel like when they come onto it, they just, they're expected to do a job or to do a chore in a way, but rather they can actually enjoy also the benefits and the leisure part of a social media app?
Yeah, the first one for the identity, we are already working with France Identity in France, so any person can verify his own identity, and we don't keep this identity, and also minors. But on Buell, minors are you are considered as a minor by default. That's it. And for the second question, so what was that for the? For the commentary. Sorry. Yes. Yes, it's a game. So it's a game. You can opt in. It's an opt-in game. So you can not play the game if you want.
How do you tackle the risk to see, you know, parallel systems developing then? I mean, one where we have, you know, identities verified, and then the other one, like today, with the dirty games and all the things continuing like today. How do you tackle this?
So, like if there are other persons that are doing the same thing, basically?
Not just a system where it is continuing without verification to work, and exactly like today. You know, how do you make sure that what you are doing is not becoming just a bubble?
Yeah. You want to answer?
Yes, it's not a bubble because the concept of Bull is to be the most mainstream as possible. So that's why we have already like creators that don't only do free speech or democracy things, but with that thing we built on the hackathon, we are working with the echo chambers. It's like what you can see on the diagram right here, this thing here. So we are like putting together a group of people who not speak together on other social platforms to ensure that they will talk together.
Thank you for your presentation. How do you prioritize and categorize the so-called echo chambers and contexts so you can place them correctly in user feeds?
Yeah, you can do that basically with a lot of scoring algorithm like cosine similarity, or you can do PCA, or there are a lot of things that you can use to contextualize, but you don't have to know the opinions of the people. You just know that they are together, but you don't know their opinions. You don't have to know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was Team Bule. Thank you very much again. And we have reached the end of this Dragon's Den. What do you think, Sally?
Yes, and I think what we need to remember is that no matter what challenge you've been trying to tackle, all of these teams have actually pushed boundaries, and that, at the end of the day, is what matters. So a round of applause for all 4 teams.
Well, but now it's your turn. You're gonna become a small dragon right now, and you're gonna give 1 extra point to one of these teams. Sometimes 1 point makes it or breaks it. So please, when they put the QR code on the screen, you will be able to vote. Again, it's always... Anyway, you will have 4 choices. You already seen your teams. So please, when it's ready, write that one. Please, go ahead. It's for the winner of the popular vote.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
my
right.
bad.
Can people connected remotely vote?
Yes. Now this is for the popular vote. You can receive a mind prize.
Can people connected remotely vote as well?
Yes.
Yes?
People can vote now. Yes.
Because the winner of the audience's vote will also be announced.
Yes, that's true. Soon.
No, not now, not now. Not now. Later. Announced later.
Later. That's correct.
We want to make sure you come back.
Well, I think you all have your turn to vote. Now there will be a break for all of you to have a coffee, well deserved. And the dragons will go to their cave to deliberate together. So please, judges, we are going to excuse ourselves, and we'll be right back at 12. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the teams. Thank you for your work.
to jest proste.
E depois fica-se mesmo desconfortável.
Me to say that, but
It's
Hello, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm just taking the floor very quickly for three short technical announcements, and then you can continue also bustling and speaking to your neighbors in a second. First technical announcements. For those of you leaving and who were invited to take this prearranged transport to the airport, please make sure you check your emails and you're at the street behind the Palais de l'Europe. So there is a map in your email where to find the bus that will take you to the airport. Please be there on time. because there are other people that might miss their flight if we're delayed. So just, yeah, at the right time. If you're also leaving before lunch, there is packed lunch in the bags outside, so please make sure that you take one. It's for you. In front of room 3, you will find the packed lunch. There is also some drinks and some fruit as well, so hopefully that helps while you're traveling on this heat outside. And for those of you who are staying for lunch, lunch today will happen in another place, so it's not in front of the hemicycle. Please follow the people in the orange t-shirts or us around or everybody else. It's downstairs in the restaurant of the Council of Europe, so you have to follow the arrows to get there. Thank you very much, and yeah, I enjoy the remaining small part now of the No Hate Speech Week and the hackathon, and see you around.
exemplo, o autocarro aqui quando conheceu os caminhos à porta, que eu estou na zona, é se eu acabar por descobrir, não tenho que a perder a vida, a marcar e tudo, em sites que eu não conheço. Ela foi dizer ao site, ao marcar, olha, este e este, e ainda me comprou o bilhete, meu Deus, eu disse que depois da Figueira, para o café do outro lado. Mas simplificou imenso. Não, ela foi porreirinha, e vai-te conhecer e ela está em Londres, agora posso me encontrar com ela sem problema, então lá está. É porreiro, está no país. Exato, não, aí ela posso encontrá-la de vez em quando. E ela também está a estudar, também trabalha na comunidade, também. Eu tenho contacto pessoal, eu tento manter com as pessoas com quem conheci, aquelas que conheci melhor, como o António, o Dani, portanto, assim as pessoas, exato, as pessoas com quem eu tive mais contatos, a ver se consigo manter, nem que seja ao lado de vez em quando, ou se quando virem para a minha banda e dizem qualquer coisa. Excuse me, your mic is still on, yeah?
Nice to see you. Yes, very nice to meet you in person. Hi, nice to see you. Nice to see you again. Great. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm Liz Alderman, and I'm excited to be joining you all again up here with Sally to moderate the most exciting part of this entire week. First of all, thank you to the judges. I think it's actually great that we went a little bit over time in terms of their deliberations, because that tells me that all of the presentations were so excellent, and it was difficult possibly for them to make a choice. So kudos to all of you for all of the work that you've done on that. We are going to be wrapping up what all of you have been doing here over the course of this week, which is having explored some of the most pressing issues facing our democracies. How do we protect participation? How do we strengthen trust? How do we thwart hate speech? And how do we also ensure that innovation, technological innovation, remains anchored in human rights and democratic values?
The conversations have been rich, the debates have been challenging, and I think that the creativity displayed by the teams shows that actually when different perspectives come together around the same topic, that's when you can really find the solutions to tackle our challenges today. We've wanted to create synergy between technology and policy in order to overcome these challenges. The 3 days have been quite tiring, I know, but I think they've shown that through this collective intelligence, you can really find ways of tackling hate speech, which is one of the major obstacles to democratic participation.
Absolutely. And I'm pleased to welcome up to the podium the Aurora Alincal. She is the head of the Anti-Discrimination and Inclusion Department at the Council of Europe. Aurora is going to now help us reflect on the wider significance of what you all have been doing this week and how it contributes to the Council's ongoing work. Take it away.
Good day, everyone. Before anything else, thank you. Thank you for your energy, your ideas, your creativity, your discussion these days, your disagreements. What it is a debate without disagreements? We'll say afterwards that nothing happened, right? Over the last 3 days, the Palais has been buzzing. We welcome more than 500 participants from 44 countries, among the member states of the Council of Europe and beyond. Together, you contributed to 40 workshops, 3 plenary sessions, a network fair, the Democracy Hackathon, the mini hackathon, and activities with students and young people. Each year, we receive more and more applications, which shows that the need to come together, to debate and discuss, it's felt even stronger than in the previous years. We have to learn from each other and to find ways to respond to the challenges, to the hate that is rapidly increasing in this world. And what a world it is. A world where hate can travel across the borders in seconds. A world where a single message can reach millions very fast. A world where artificial intelligence can help us fight hate and, of course, can amplify it. A world where democracy sometimes feels fragile, but where people continue to show up, to engage, and care. A world that gives hope. So, what are the main lessons from this year's No Hate Speech Week? I should summarize them in 5 main messages. First one, we need facts. Good policies start with good evidence. We heard about new monitoring tools, new methodologies, and new ways of understanding how hate speech works. From the work of ECRI on racist and anti-LGBTI hate speech, to innovative AI-based monitoring tools such as FARO, presented by Oberaxe in Spain, and the experiences shared by INACT in monitoring online narrative during the election, we learned that collecting data is not a technical exercise. It helps us identify trends, understand who is targeted, and design better responses. Second, technology is a tool, not a solution. Artificial intelligence can help us monitor hate speech, analyze large volumes of content, and reduce human exposure to harmful material. But AI is not a magic wand. As we discussed throughout the week, it still struggles with content, with context, humor, irony, images, videos, and cultural references. In other words, AI may be clever, but it still needs human intelligence. For those of us who were secretly hoping that AI will write our reports and attend our meeting with the idea that it will solve hate speech by next Monday, I'm afraid that it's still a lot of work to be done. At the same time, many workshops showed the potential of technology when guided by human rights principles. From tools monitoring online hate narratives to projects exploring AI-generated counter-speech, digital reporting platforms, and educational initiatives such as Echoes using AI to engage young people with the Holocaust remembrance and combat anti-Semitism. And perhaps one of the lessons of this week is that if technology is changing the way hate speech spreads, technology must also be part of how to respond to it. We cannot address 21st century challenges with 20th century tools. Third, countering hate is not only about reacting, it is about creating. Many workshops reminded us that combating hate speech means creating spaces where people feel seen, heard, respected, that they have the sense of belonging. Through culture, through education, through art and participation. The example shared by ERIAC, the European Roma Institute for Arts and Culture, to the Roma Art Resistance Initiative, by local authorities to the Intercultural City Program, by youth organization, by our gender equality colleagues promoting positive narrative, and by civil society partners show that changing narratives is possible when people are given the opportunity to tell their own stories. Fourth, democracy happens locally, very often. We often speak about democracy in very big terms, but democracy is also a school, a municipality, a youth center, a local council, a community project, the family, a football club. We heard inspiring example of cities promoting inclusion through the Intercultural City Program, local initiatives supporting migrants and refugees, municipalities working on LGBTI inclusion in the workspace, a practical experience shared by the Congress of Local and Regional Authority on protecting local elected representatives from intimidation, hate speech, and attacks. Democracy is learned and practiced long before it appears in our legal texts. And fifth, no one succeeds alone. One of the strongest messages of this week has been the importance of cooperation between institutions, between civil society and public authorities, between the tech sector and human rights defenders, between educators, researchers, journalists, and local communities, and sometimes between people who will not normally find themselves in the same room. Because hate thrives in isolation and solutions thrive in cooperation. Whether we look at multidisciplinary approaches to hate crime through the Cooper Hate Project, partnerships between municipalities and civil society, or cooperation between equality bodies, law enforcement and community organization, one lesson emerged clearly. No single institution can tackle this alone. Some participants stressed that the Council of Europe needs to stand its ground now more than ever. I would reply that the Council of Europe is all of us, including you. We need you to continue promoting human rights, democracy, and inclusion in your communities, institutions, and professions. And we at the Council of Europe, we will continue to do our part. We continue the consultation process for a new democratic pact for Europe. We will continue supporting the implementation of our standards, recommendations, and the case law of the European Court of Human Rights. We will continue working on those most affected by hate, whether Roma and travelers, LGBTI persons, religious minorities, migrants, refugees, women, young people, or other groups targeted because of who they are. We will continue supporting intercultural inclusion, democratic participation, and cooperation at local, national, and European level. We will continue exploring how technology and artificial intelligence can serve human rights rather than undermine them. And we will continue examining the feasibility of a binding international instrument on hate speech and hate crime. I would also like to say an additional word about the workshops, because the workshops are the beating heart of this event. This is where ideas are tested, where partnerships are born, when challenges are debated, honestly, where practitioners share experience from the field, and where very often the most innovative solutions emerge. The quality, diversity, and openness of this discussion was really impressive. The notes taken by our colleagues over the last 3 days will ensure that these conversations continue well beyond Strasbourg. The No Hate Speech Week has provided valuable input to the consultation process of the new Democratic Pact for Europe, because ultimately, this week was not only about countering hate speech. It was about protecting human dignity and strengthening democracy. And it was about ensuring that everyone can participate equally in our societies. This week has also shown what the new Democratic Pact for Europe is really about: bringing people together, discuss real solutions to real challenges. We do not come together to describe problems or measure how difficult the times are. We come together to ask one more important question: what do we do about it? What works? What doesn't? And how do we turn ideas into action, standards into practice, and commitments into change? And of course, we need studies, evidence, and analysis, but they only matter if they lead to implementation, follow-up, and results that people can feel in their daily life. The pact is ultimately about action, responsibility, and participation. It is about finding the courage and the energy to move forward together to strengthen democracies. And that is exactly what you do every day, often in difficult circumstances, sometimes with limited resources, not always with the visibility you deserve, but always with commitment, professionalism, and determination. You are the people who transform principle into reality. Please leave Strasbourg with new ideas, new contacts, new networks, renewed energy, and hopefully a little less hate in your inbox when you go back home. I would like to thank our long-standing partners, the European Commission, the EEA and Norway Grant, the Presidency of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe, Monaco, our member states, all our partners from civil society, local and national authorities, academia, media, technology sector, youth organization, universities, and schools, and everyone that were here with us today. Thank you very much, and to be continued next year.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aurora. Now, during the presentations in the Dragon's Den, the judges listened with great care and attention. And therefore, I'm sorry, but before we announce the results, I'm going to ask you to bite your nails a little bit longer, because we would like to ask the judges what their reflections are. What, in your view, does this competition mean for you? What does it mean for democracy? And what gives you confidence in the future?
That's right. Let's put them on the spot one by one. Let me start with Lisa, if you would take the podium and tell us what your reflections are.
Yes, now it's working. Dear friends, I want to call you friends because I believe we should be tackling all the problems and the challenges of democracies together as friends. Sometimes we may have different opinions, but we need to understand that if we want to have a common future where we want to be able to speak to each other, we should be acting as friends, diverse, but united because we see the common cause and the common future. I want to thank everyone who started this initiative, the Hackathon, specifically General Secretary Alain Verset and the whole team. I represent the Commission of the New Democratic Pact, but I'm also actually a parliamentarian. I'm working here in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, and I really want to ask you, all of you, to check out what we are doing, because the voice of the Council of Europe is very often is coming from parliamentarians. We are the ones who are voting for all the resolutions. We are the ones who are bringing all these problems to be discussed. And during these 3 days, I've heard from many of you that you believe in democracy or you have concerns about democracies. But I want to tell you that believing or not believing is not enough. It is great that when we have this hackathon devoted to the hatred, hate speech, we look into different topics, we look at the different types of violence, but we always need to look also deeper, to the deeper roots. What leads us to these problems? And as I mentioned during the first day, when we are discussing the technological solutions, if we don't have politicians that believe in the importance of all of that, if we don't have politicians that have moral leadership, unfortunately, all these solutions may not be very effective as we would want them to have. This is one of my reflections coming from all of your projects. You have great projects, and I'm very impressed that there is a big, actually, difference between the first hackathon that was a year ago. I was here present, and this year, and this is great. I see more and more young faces believing and doing, and these solutions developing. But don't think, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, that your app, your technology solution, will be very impactful if you have very bad politicians in your governments, in your politics. If you believe that you personally can develop a technology solution but not be politically active, unfortunately, you will not make such impact as you would want to make. And this is probably my main message. Believing in democracy is not enough. Think about moral leadership. Think about how you personally can take that responsibility to plant these ideas in your communities, in your families, and don't be afraid. During the first and second day, I've heard from some of you saying that because of the hate, because of violence, because of other problems, I feel not comfortable being politically active. I will tell you the truth. I'm 7 years full-time in the parliament. I was also very idealistic and very naive in thinking that all my ideas that I have when I enter parliament, I would make sure that it will be implemented immediately. But it's not true. Being in politics is never easy. Being in politics and making a political change, and we are all talking about the social political change, never comes quick. And you need to be prepared that it will not be very enjoyable. One of the problems of nowadays that we are taught, and this is our culture of hedonism, that we should have the pleasure, we should have joy. Yes, let's have it in a social life. Let's have it with our families and friends. But if we are working for a change, we actually will not have that joy. And this is very important to remember. Be prepared that you need to have allies, you need to form alliances. And, you know, one time, when I was a child...
Mrs. Yashko, the dragon moderators are about to attack. So can we ask you to stop in about 30 seconds?
In 1 minute.
Thank you.
So...
Spoken like a true politician.
Yes, you need to hear your voice. And you need to have this voice together with others. Democracy is like flowers. You need to plant every flower and to form a garden together. Don't fight the ocean, but try to water that flowers that need to become a garden. And don't wait for anyone else to do it. If you don't do it, then not anyone else will solve your problem. Don't expect for easy solutions. Work hard for long-term change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you for that, Lisa. Actually, I think that was worth the wait, even though we're trying to keep things running on time, because, I mean, you have a very sobering message, which is that technological solutions are not enough. People need to be active, and people need to remember the context of the real politic of how the world works. With that, Let me invite Maya Lahav, our cybercriminologist, up to the stage to briefly tell us your thoughts.
All right, contestants, deep breaths. How are we doing? Yeah? I think you're doing pretty great. What's the solution? That's the first question I received when I spoke at a conference in Sweden on online harms. What's the most effective troubleshooting you can imagine? That's the question I got again and again and again when I was on a visiting fellowship in Australia. What can we do? Is what a student always asks me when I lecture about these issues. Because I'm lucky enough to travel around the world, discuss online harms and the issue that we face with fake news and disinformation campaigns and everything that causes online democratic backsliding. And everywhere I go, I get the same question, what's the solution? And I have one huge problem. I don't know. Is it more money? Is it more AI? Is it more policy and regulation? In this room, I see people working on that one thing, the solution. The solution isn't a one-word answer. It's not a catchphrase. It's not written. It's forged by builders like you. With every line of code, with every design sketch, with every pitch. You are all here because you came up with a unique idea, an idea for good. And I urge you all to remember your power and your influence on democracy. It works because we fight for it, because you are all fighting for it right now. Every idea you're putting forward here is a stone being laid upon the road towards a stronger democracy. So next time I have a student who asks, what should we do? I'm going to tell them to stop waiting for permission. The answer is grabbing a designer, a developer, a democracy expert. The answer is building the tool, pitching the idea, taking the risk. I will tell the student to do as all of the hackathon participants in this room have done, be brave enough to try. Together, we can hack the hate and renew democracy.
Thanks for that, Maya. Reminding people to push the limits. Raris, let's hear from you now as the representative of European youth. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. Not a very enviable position to speak to as you're all waiting to hear the results, so I'll keep it short. But I really wanted to say that I was judged last year as well, but being a judge today gave me a very good look at what happens when you really trust young people to solve the problems and actually give them the tools to be able to do it. Across all the finalists that we had today, fantastic work. What really struck me was the range of approaches that you will put on display, the technical tools, the awareness campaigns, the peer support models, all of them built from a different angle on the same problem fundamentally, and all of it grounded in very real lived experiences. That was the one thing that connected all of them, and for that I really, really thank you. Whatever the outcome will be in a few minutes, that range alone says something about the depth of the talent and the passion that you have in this room, and that's really, really, give yourself a big round of applause for that, because you really, really deserve it. And there's a very nice symmetry in that, because the No Hate Speech Week was actually, has its roots in a youth-led campaign at the Council of Europe that was launched more than a decade ago, when young people organized online to confront hate speech directly. And what we saw on those screens this week and this morning is that same energy, but just updated with 2026 and with the word AI scattered through it here and there. At the European Youth Forum, we define civic space simply. It is what young people and youth organizations create when they speak out, when they organize themselves, and when they take part in decisions, both online and offline. And hate speech is an amazing tool to shrink that and to make that disappear. Because it pushes people out of conversations before they've had a chance to even enter them. And it falls hardest on the ones that are already pushed to the margins, whether it's about young women, whether it's about LGBTQIA+ young people, or racialized and migrant young people. That's what we've consistently warned, that civic space for young people is under pressure, and I think you've seen that as you build your solutions, and why we've pushed for, of course, sustained institutional funding for these kinds of projects for youth organizations, because a hackathon is a brilliant spark, but it cannot be the the only commitment. The convention itself, and with this I slowly wrap up, tells us that freedom of expression comes with responsibilities and that protecting others' rights is a legitimate limit on it. What we saw this week is proof that free expression and real protection can actually be built into the same designs from the very beginning. And this also comes at a very meaningful moment for the Council of Europe with the new Democratic Pact for Europe taking shape. This is exactly the kind of work that belongs in that conversation. Concrete, youth-built evidence of what democratic resilience can look like. So as we close, my ask is very simple. Keep the funding for this kind of work consistent year after year, the same way you'd fund any other piece of democratic infrastructure, because this is what democratic security looks like in practice. Thank you to Secretary Tony Berset, to the whole Council of Europe team, to our moderators for bringing us together and allowing us young people to lead on this issue. And just, wow, it's so impressive. Congratulations, really.
Absolutely. Thank you, Raris. I agree with that. Just wow to what we've seen here this week. Let's wrap up with Aisha Piatti, who's going to give us the 30,000-foot view on what all of this means, how practical it is, the real politic, and all of that as our AI expert.
So, distinguished colleagues of the jury, His Excellency the Secretary General, and most importantly, our brilliant innovators. It's an absolute honor to stand before you today at the culmination of this intense, inspiring 3-day hackathon. Looking around this room and sharing this final stage with such a distinguished multidisciplinary jury, I'm filled with immense hope. When I look at the challenge of countering hate speech, this topic resonates with me not just as a professional, but at a very deeply professional, personal level. I'm a mother of twins. Every day I see the digital world they navigate, a world full of beautiful connectivity, but also one increasingly fractured by polarization and hate. Like any parent, I want future of technology to uplift our children and not divide them. But this is why the work that you have done over the last 3 days matters so profoundly. You have shown us that technology itself can also be a powerful tool as a solution to the very problems it creates. But just as importantly, you have reminded us that the process by which we get there matters as much as the tool itself. And earlier in the program, a panel discussion raised a critical question regarding the ethical dilemmas of tech innovation and asked, who has the leverage? In other words, who holds the ultimate power over how these technologies impact our societies? Historically, we have looked at policy and regulation to give us that leverage, relying on laws to act as a shield and keep developments aligned with public interest. But as a policy expert, I have learned that true leverage doesn't come from a single silver bullet. It requires an entire ecosystem of interconnected solutions working together. Regulation is one tool, a robust democratic process is another, technology is another, and deep societal education is another. To make these tools work, we need collaboration, an absolute commitment to including all voices at the table, crossing boundaries of culture, geographies, and generations to be built a unified response. Moreover, without a seat at the technological table, our leverage remains incomplete. Hence, I wanted to highlight another urgent challenge we face today, that of technological sovereignty. Just days ago, we witnessed a stark reminder of our vulnerability when the US government issued a sudden export control directive. In an instant, Anthropic was forced to abruptly disable access to its cutting-edge Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models for users worldwide. When our critical digital infrastructure is concentrated entirely in the hands of a few foreign entities, our public discourse, our security, our democratic platforms can be altered overnight by a single foreign pen stroke. This highlights another undeniable truth. To have real leverage, we must also home grow our own solutions. We need public digital infrastructure built on transparency, safety, and our own shared values. Here I can highlight what we are doing in Switzerland with Apertus, developed through a joint initiative by ETH Zurich, EPFL, which are the two Federal Institutes of Technology, and CSCS. Apertus is a fully open source large language model built as a public good. It is transparent, fully aligned with democratic values, and completely independent of foreign commercial or political volatility. It is proof that we have the talent, the capability to build a sovereign, trustworthy digital foundation right here. In my own personal journey, I've had the privilege of seeing the world through many different lenses, starting at the United Nations, moving to the corporate multinational world, then entering academia and entrepreneurship, alongside my role as a local parliamentarian. What this multidisciplinary path has taught me is that true democratic resilience, it relies on public mobilization and active localized participation. When we confront systemic threats like digital hate, we cannot simply pass the buck to the tech giants or distant regulators. Regulations provide a framework, certainly, but final accountability rests with us for our lives today and for the legacy we leave to the next generations. So I urge everyone in this room to look beyond your professional stakeholder silos. Connect with these issues on a personal level. Yes, today you might be representing academia, industry, or a regulator, but you're also a parent, a customer, a citizen, a student, a teacher, an employer, an employee, and this realization is what pushed me to act in my career, and it is what must push all of us to protect the future that we want to build. And to our hackathon participants, you have broken out of your silos. You have brought your diverse voices to the table and demonstrated that the process of collaborative, inclusive innovation is exactly what we need to leverage and take back everything in our own hands. So whatever the final results now, you have already proven that the power to create a better, more sovereign future belongs to us. So thank you and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for these reflections that highlight that innovation must be guided by values, and I think that's what all participants have been striving to do this week. Now, to deliver the closing remarks, it is my honor to call to the podium the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Alain Berset.
So, thank you. I hope you will survive my speech as well. So, what a week. Really, what a week. Packed rooms, hundreds of participants from all 46 member states and beyond. Hacking sessions. Giuliano da Empoli on power and technology. A panel on the ethical dilemmas of innovation. The International Day for Countering Hate Speech. A debate on hate speech as the biggest threat to democracy. Gilles Marchand on cultural sovereignty. The Journalism Excellence Awards, 4 tracks, 4 problems, the Dragon's Den, and all of it in 3 days. And that is just the serious stuff. There was as well rock, paper, scissors in several languages, which I'm told changed nothing. The winner walked away with a world champion t-shirt, and I hope I will be able to participate myself next week, or next year. Not next week, next year. There was as well the Lego challenge. Guess the number of blocks in a jar. Do you know the answer? You know the answer. Okay, but I tell you the answer again. The answer was 437. And if anyone got it right, please come and find me after the session. We may have a job for you. And last night, all together at the residence, no complaints. By the way, if you want to find it, my playlist that we had yesterday, you can find it online. So it's just been fascinating to see the hackathon and No Hate Speech Week come together like this. And they say hate is winning. Not in this house, it isn't. Right from the opening on Wednesday, you set the tone. When I asked you, you can remember this, when I asked you what the internet will look like in 10 years, you said something we can't imagine yet. Only this young generation could say that, and it's not doom, it's hope. We call this hope. And you know, hope is a simple thing. It is two teams defending their position with conviction, but always respectful of the other. That's what we saw yesterday during the debates. Everyone played by the rules, even without a referee. And I don't know any better definition of democracy. I know they will give others the courage to get involved. Hope is also a number, 130. That's how many teams registered for the hackathon? 130, and we kept 20. In the end, there will be 4, but the number of teams doubled from last year. And last year was 1 day, this year 3. I was also happy to learn that women made up over 30% of participants, much higher than the average in the tech sector. And our youngest participant, I don't know if he's in the room, probably yes, this week was 16. But hope is not the same as wishful thinking. The panelists made that clear on Wednesday. 4 women taking on technology at the highest level, 2 more moderating. The tech world really looks like this, it should. And they said, moderating hate 1 comment at a time is like raking sand to calm the ocean. We have to go where the waves are made, and they warned us, you cannot govern machine speed systems with paper speed rules. In the end, it is all about incentives. They reward attention and speed. The same incentives that shaped social media now shape AI. Safety comes last. Change the incentives and you change everything. That is not the work of 3 days, as we all know. This is the work of your whole lives. Democracy is a lifelong commitment. And I leave my side this week with hope, because I have seen what you are capable of. And this, exactly this, reminds of a great American philosopher who once said, and I quote, "And the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off." End of quote. As the philosopher reminds us, there will always be haters. People who break rather than build, but not you. You hacked the 8. And now, let's all go renew democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was the best philosophical quote that I've heard in a long time. A total inspiration. And it's the perfect, please, if I could ask you, Secretary General, to stay up at the podium, because now comes the moment that you all have been waiting for, which is the culmination of this week's Hack the Hate, Renew Democracy forum. And it's obviously been a difficult choice for our judges, but the judges have made their deliberations. All of the ideas have been tested. The votes here have been counted. And it's now time to announce the winning teams, set against the framework of another thing the Secretary General just said, which leaves us a lot of hope, which is that even though we've been hearing a lot of doom here, concerns about hate speech, et cetera, that it is all about hope, and that's what you all are giving us. So Secretary General, take it away with the announcement of the winner.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. And as you told, you saw that you noted that we took a lot of time with the jury to deliberate, and it says a lot. We have really very interesting and big discussion, and it underlines also the fact that your job, what you did, what the 4 teams did, but what the 20 teams did is really fantastic. And before I announce the winners of this year's hackathon, I would like to thank everyone who made this week possible. You know, the mentors, the jury, the moderators, the participants, all of you here in this room, all our colleagues. I don't want to name and to list all of them, but it is a fantastic job that was made this week, including the anti-discrimination team, the PACT team. It was truly impressive. Thank you very much. Thank you all. So now we are going to, the announcements, and we are going to start with the youth contests. We had teams from several member states, including Ukraine, and please join me in congratulating Democracy Wrapped. Where are you? Please come, please come. Please join me, please join. So the next category is special. It is special because you chose it. It is now time for the Audience Award. And for the Audience Award in this room this morning, the winner is Bull. And finally, we have now the Grand Jury Award. And these teams, all teams will receive development support with grants from the Council of Europe, from Microsoft support, and the 4 finalists that we know are All for One from Moldova. Please. Lumen from Romania. Quorum from the United Kingdom. And Bull from France. And now I have the privilege and the honor to communicate to you that the winner, after deliberation of the grand jury this morning, the winner is Quorum. So thank you all. Thank you very much for the presence, for the participation, for this fantastic week here all together. Safe travels now home for all of you. Thanks.
Too late, got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep cruising, can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, I shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the faker's gonna fake, 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 fake. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off. I never miss a beat. I'm lightning on my feet, and that's what they don't see. That's what they don't see. I'm dancing on my own, dancing on my own. Make the moves up as I go, and that's what they don't know. That's what they don't know. But I keep cruising, can't stop, won't stop grooving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, I shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break, 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 break. And the faker's gonna fake, 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 fake. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off. Shake it off, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off. I shake it off, I shake it off.
Hey, hey, hey! Just think, while you've been getting down and out about the liars and the dirty, dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat.
My ex-man brought his new girlfriend. She's like, oh my god, but I'm just gonna shake into the fella over there with the hella good hair. Won't you come on over, baby? We can shake, shake, shake. Yeah. Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And shake,